What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I also do TV shows. And this is a recap of The Handmaid's Tale, Season 6, Episode 7. And spoilers ahead, because that's what recaps are. Also, click like and subscribe, because I need more subscribers. So, the audio description exists for this. You can watch it. I've liked the audio description all season long. I thought it's been really pretty good. We open in this episode basically exactly where we left off, which is in the closet with June and Nick. And June has just heard the horrific thing that Nick does, which we see the ramifications of in toward the beginning of this episode, which really means Serena's marrying a douchebag, because he didn't just have Jezebel shut down. No. And by the way, remember they talked about with Janine, she could have either been in Jezebel's or she could have been sent off to a work camp to die. We've seen the work camps in previous episodes, out there in the middle of nowhere. There are people who they send out there just to do labor. They could have taken all the Jezebels and sent them out there. No, they took them into a shower and shot them all. And the only one who lived was Janine, because she has a sadistic commander that's obsessed with her. So he pulled her out before all of the rest of the girls were murdered. They're just dead. So that's what happened. So of course June is horrified. She doesn't know that Janine's okay right away. She's just spiraling. And eventually it's mentioned to her that Janine is okay and that Janine made it out. She does learn that by the end of the episode, that Janine is with this other commander, which also we see Lydia, who learns about the thing, and she goes by and there's they've cleaned the bodies out, but there's blood everywhere and the whole dressing room area. And so Lydia's just standing there and she's crying because I guess she genuinely cares for Janine, or the thought of these, or the belief system that she had, because there were other handmaids that had been put into Jezebel's. So there were these people that she thought that she had been training because they were supposed to be God's vessels. There's a little bit of this religious sanctimonianism that comes out of what Lydia and Serena spout in this episode. Serena, when she sits down with the other wives, is isn't this why we did it all for? And she comes at it from the religious aspect of, well, this is, praise be and all that kind of stuff. And the other housewives are like, no, not really. We can't be bothered with that. She finds out that really nobody else buys into that religious bullshit that she does. She's starting to figure that out. And Lydia, I think, is maybe seeing a little bit of that too. That all the stuff, all the work that she's done has all been bullshit. Just all been bullshit. So to watch these characters sort of stagger and crumble, I think with 3 episodes left, at least one of them is going to have an awakening. Probably Lydia, since she's in the Testaments, which is the follow-up series to this that they are already filming. And I don't know what the trajectory for her character is. They could keep her literally the same. So I don't know how this show is going to finish. I know nothing about the Testaments, so I just know she's in it. So she could have some sort of a different perspective for the next series. But June and Nick eventually get to exit the closet when Serena leaves with hubby and baby and goes out for a walk. And she's, basically anything she had with Nick is done. And she just tells Nick to take her back. She doesn't make a big storm about it because she still she's on the wrong side of the line to make a huge fight about it. So she has Nick take her back, and then she gets out close to the line. She doesn't want Nick to take her actually all the way. And she has a fight with Nick, and Nick is like, I was always a commander. I've always been the eye. And you didn't care when I was doing horrible things that benefited you. He does have a point. But at the same time, she, he's like, we're all in this to save ourselves. We would all save ourselves. And is, I think June's like wrestling with that excuse from Nick because it's partially true, but it's true to an extent. It's true to an extent because June has not qualified her mission, which is to get Hannah out. So do I think for like any second that if June had a chance to swap with Hannah, that she would absolutely do that. Like if she could trade her life for Hannah's and get Hannah out, she would do it in a heartbeat. So this whole idea about saving yourself is really just sort of myopic from Nick's view, because that means that there's nobody else that he loves enough to die for. So he doesn't see that, and June does see that, but June also sees his point of view, which is Nick doesn't love June enough to die for her. So when Nick is like, don't you love me? It's like, obviously not, you know. So it's how much you love people. And I think the thing about June is that her kids are everything. I don't know if she'd die for Luke. And that's a question that they bring up later, because June and Luke, after June has to tell everybody that, you know, she was the reason she trusted Nick, and Nick told the commander, and so that's why they can't go to do the Jezebel thing. She ends up having this moment with Luke where she says, are you, you know, do you think we would still be together if we didn't have Hannah? And Luke is a little bit more encouraging and says, yes, that's not the only reason we're together. But that has crossed June's mind, which means I think she knows. She's the whole perspective of everything of why she's doing this and why she's still doing this, why she's still fighting. It's not just because it's wrong, but it's also because they still have Hannah. So that is her driving force. So when she sees somebody saying, you know, we would always just save ourselves, she's like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing all of this to try to get my daughter out of a situation that is going to be harmful to her so that she can have the freedom to be able to live her own life. That's why she's doing all this. So, and I think some other characters too. I think what's interesting is that Moira, I think, has no problem being martyred. So I don't know that Moira wouldn't put herself in a situation. I kind of wonder, with 3 episodes left, if Moira's going to survive. I've wondered that from the beginning, as June has had Luke and Moira on either side of her, if the show would let both of them survive to the end of the series. I feel like one of them is not going to survive. I also kind of wonder about Janine, because Janine has been battered and bruised so many times. It's like, you either give her a happy ending or you let her go. Like, her suffering is so intense at this point. She's been through so much that if you can't give her a happy ending where she's at a home, like, full of wildflowers and living with her daughter in some sort of peaceful, you know, just wonderful heaven future thing for her, you know, where there's no Gilead and nothing for her to ever have to worry about, then there really isn't like a satisfactory ending for Janine other than to let her also be martyred. So I think this episode played with a lot of ideas, and I like that Lawrence actually drives all the way over to where Mayday is, and like goes in and talks to them about, because obviously he's caught wind of the raid on Jezebel's, and you know, at first his conversation with June is not great, because she's like, I'm sorry, you're gonna end up on the wall, you know, like those kind of things. It's like, there's nothing I can do. And then she gets wind of this Serena wedding that she's planning, because there's a scene where Serena gets rebuffed by basically all of the other wives, who are all like, you know, they don't care about the fertilization center. Like, that's not their thing. And they don't care what happens to handmaids after they've had a baby. They're all just really sort of vile human beings. And Serena, because she's been given perspective on life, actually is concerned, and she thinks her new husband is on the same ground as her. I think he might be, because he seems very self-righteous. He seems like he's still maybe coming from Serena's, like, we're doing this for religious purposes. He might actually be that. I'm wondering if he's Two-Faced, but also a lot of the things that he does are very sort of leaning in that direction away from that of the other. Like, he doesn't go to Jezebel's. He finds Jezebel's appalling. He likes Serena also because she's this, religious figure. A lot of the other things and her ideology. And he's okay with finding, with not torturing people, I guess, as part of Serena's plan of, enjoying New Bethlehem and that kind of thing and letting women read and whatever. So he's seems to be happy with the in-between, unless it comes back to bite Serena in the ass, which is totally possible because she absolutely deserves to not have a happy ending by the end of the series. But her non-happy ending may be the fact that they're going to use her wedding as the attack on the commanders and to blow them all up. So that is the new plan. And we see a lot happen in this episode. We see at the end that June and Moira have snuck back in, and they are at the Handmaids Center. And they've been snuck in once again by Commander Lawrence. And they're readying for this attack. And we also see like Rita's in on it. And they're like, we got to use everybody that's ever been wronged by Gilead and let them know, use the handmaids. That's their thing, is that they plan on using the handmaids for the attack because the handmaids will be there. There'll be plenty enough people who are invited to this wedding because it's a big deal. Serena chose to not have her wedding in New Bethlehem and have like a free wedding or whatever, and instead to have it in Gilead with all of the traditions of Gilead so that she can prove to these wives, so that they have to submit to her as the new, I don't know, is this dude like president of everything? I guess she's like the new queen of Gilead. So she wants the other women to respect her more. So good luck with that. But there were several great moments in this. I thought June had a lot of great levels to her performance because she has to go through shock, but she also can't show Nick how pissed she is because she still needs to get out of Gilead. She needs him to a point, and then she has no problem getting rid of him. I was wondering where the Nick and Rita scene would go because Nick was obviously hurt from the June thing, but Nick just kind of is like, you're only being nice to me because you need me. He's starting to realize that's all anybody ever wants from him is that they need him for things. And it's like, I don't think that was the case back in the day. I think you used to be a nicer person and then the weight of the world was thrown on your shoulders. It's one of the things June mentions to Lawrence about, like, you trusted Nick too. And he's like, I never told him, all the things I was never, I certainly was never bowled over by his smoldering look, throws that back at June. Like, he never fooled me with his dreamy eyes. So yeah, I don't know where Nick is going to go for the remainder of the series. He's sort of in this weird place where he's now kind of a villain. What he did is kind of a bad thing, and he's sort of unapologetic about it and thinks that he's been wronged. So I never thought June and Nick would end up together at this point, but I guess there was a possibility if Nick had really gone for the hero route and Luke died, that maybe June and Nick in some weird flash forward future, that Nick was living in Alaska and Luke died in a war. And maybe, like, I didn't think it was the ending that they go for, but I could see them writing it. Like, I could see a writer's room pitching that idea. Yeah, I don't necessarily know. I just can't wait for the one that has Janine, Commander Bell, Timothy Simons. I just can't wait to see him die. He's such an ass. I'm tired of that character. And I think everybody is too. I don't think that's going to be a great moment for Handmaid's Tale fans, is when that guy is done. Dunzo. I hope it's Janine that gets to do it too. Or Lydia. I would take Lydia too. Like, if that was Lydia's big moment, if she came up and saved Janine by murdering somebody, I'm here for it. Like, let's do it. Sacrifice everything she believes in. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything from Handmaid's Tale. So we saw basically everybody that we've been seeing, all of the main characters. So thus far. I wonder if we'll see Hannah again. I wonder if June will get to be reunited with Hannah again. I wonder if this attack, how this is going to go. Are we going to end on it? Is that going to be the finale? Or we can get an episode afterwards where she's reunited with Hannah, where Commander Lawrence is in charge of Gilead. And because he has no other commanders to bitch at him, he's just like, here's Hannah, you know, like, here's your daughter. um, it's totally possible. I think it's more likely that Lawrence would get redemption than Serena, Lydia, or Nick at this point, because he's actively working to try to fix the things and has been for a while to try to fix things. So we'll see. And he still is responsible to keep Janine's daughter safe. So we can't hate him too much because that would put Janine's daughter in danger. So yeah, a lot of things to think about. But I like the episode. This is a solid final season thus far. I'm really happy for it. So I think it's been doing everything it needs to do for a final season, tying up all the loose ends. It hasn't delivered us like huge death after huge death in the final season, which it absolutely could have, just death after death after death. There are enough characters here to do that. But we're headed towards something. And now that we see what that is, who will make it to the other side? Anyway, I'm going to give this episode an A. I liked it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Click like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the other side.